So one thing is it takes 3 weeks to form a new habit. So always remember that when you're even trying to create one, it takes 3 weeks or 21 days um, to actually create a habit. So if you don't have a routine, just remember that. Like you have to give it time. And if we
Yeah.
do something for 3 weeks straight, it will stick. Which is like even if you're trying to give up things for diets or anything, 21 days, that's what you need for the reset.
Whew. Which can be a long time for some, because I'm thinking of like that time when I tried. I was like 75% successful.
Okay.
Stop it.
What was you doing?
When I was trying to give up sugar, like, and just
No.
only have natural sugar, like from fruits, girl, the headaches and all that. It was just like, where is the Reese's cup? Because I give up.
So, I mean, what happened? I want to know. I mean, did you survive or did you like
I
stop after a
mission was
certain?
aborted. Okay.
I'm gonna let
Because
that
so
go.
I say all that to say, don't get discouraged by the 3 week time period
Yeah, you can
because
just
it's
start
worth
over,
it,
and you can just start over.
or that.
You can, but it does take 3 weeks, so don't beat yourself up about it. It takes
Right.
time, and I
Mhm.
wouldn't say trying to create 15 new habits at once would
Yeah.
probably be healthy. I would definitely just pick one.
Mhm.
Routines can help alleviate anxiety. They combat burnout. They
Mm.
combat burnout. And how
Yes.
many people in the world are burnt out? Even just from the last 2 years of life.
Mhm.
Burnout
Mhm.
is real. And burnout causes so many other issues. That's where you get your nervous breakdowns. That's
Mhm.
where
That's
you
that's where I start quitting jobs.
yes, when you start quitting jobs if you're Bree. When I'm burnt out, I just quit everything.
Yeah.
And but every burnout is different, right? You have minor
Mhm.
burnout, and you got big burnout. I haven't had a major burnout since 2019.
That's a
Yep,
good
like
point. I didn't think
2018 to
about it.
2019 was a really
Yeah.
big burnout.
I didn't think about it in those terms.
Mhm.
Like the time period of when's the last time I had one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a minute because I've been on
Mhm.
my current job for almost a year, girl.
We
What?
y'all need to understand that deserves celebration.
Tell them because
They don't even understand how much that deserves celebration. Yes. But and so I think when you say you quit jobs, my burnout was I still had a job, but I was so burnt out that I stopped going. But I still worked there to the point like not just I went so I could keep my job, but
okay,
like the days that I was showing up were getting shorter. I put
okay.
it to you like this. I'm just gonna be real honest. That was a rough time, and
Mhm.
I was so burnt out that I lost $10,000 from not showing up to work. Like I cut my salary by $10,000 because that's how much I was like, I just couldn't do it. I
But
just
even
couldn't do it.
in those times, the money doesn't matter.
No,
What's more
it
important is
doesn't.
like I need to put everything on pause,
Yep. But then
regardless
my
of
bills
what
was like, we burnt out now because you ain't got that money.
cost.
But yeah, so it definitely helps with burnout. I can even attest to that. Like the small
Mhm.
routines that I have created definitely help with burnout.
Yeah.
And it promotes healthy habits
Mhm.
because you want to when you start to create a routine, you want to create it around what you need, not just what you want. And
Mhm.
so it will help you promote healthy habits, which doesn't mean you can't still have your, I guess, non-healthy habits, but you probably have them in a more healthy amount.
Yeah, moderation.
Moderation.
Mhm.
They do create structure, which we put structure from on children as soon as they come out. So I don't know why adults think they don't need it. I don't know this magic switch that you think happens when you become an adult. You do not get a blank slate and become a new person. Who you are has been working hard from the 9 months of being that belly out. Like all of this, all of me, it's been there, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure even for you, you're the same person within
Yeah.
reason, right? Like if you're a goofy person, you're a goofy adult. You don't magically just stop.
Very true.
Yeah. So,
And very true.
um, and then it gives us a sense of accomplishment.
Ooh, now that I will agree with. Yeah. If I start my day with my routine, the day just flows better. And by the time it's like I finish my workout that evening, I'm like, today was a really good day.
Yep.
I had energy to take me through the whole day. I don't feel depleted. Yeah,
Yeah, and then I
definitely.
think about people who struggle with follow through, whether that's from
Mm,
anxiety, whether that's from
mhm.
just piling their plate up. It can give you, if you know what you're supposed to be doing that day, like you do feel accomplished. At the end of the day, you can say you checked all your boxes for that
Yep,
day, which
yep.
feels really good, right? Because you want to feel productive sometimes. Sometimes you're like, oh, I did a good job. I did something. I did not waste the day. I got the things I wanted out the way. So it definitely makes you feel accomplished.
Mhm.
Now, two other things that it does that I
I
I
thought
didn't even think about.
we were done with the things, the
Nope.
benefit. That was just
There's
one?
another. Yep, there's
Oh,
more. These
okay.
last two, though, I think are the
Mhm.
most important. All of them are important,
Yes.
but I think these two are ones that I didn't even think about originally, like when I think of a daily
Mm.
routine. And that is, it lets us know how we are doing.
Ooh, talk about put it back on you.
It lets us know how we are doing, and it also lets others know how we are doing. When you think about it, when somebody you love is off their routine, you notice it and you may be like, "What's up? You okay?"
Mhm. Mhm.
Right? And even for yourself, if you know, I know like we talk about working out, like if you know you work out and then you like, I haven't, like you just hits you one day, it lets you know
Yep.
how you are doing. It can make you stop, pause for the cause, as they say, to see, do a check-in,
Yeah.
which was part of last week's episode of like that check-in with yourself, being in tune with yourself. It will let you know how you're doing because you can tell by your routine.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think about that in those terms until I actually see it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I typically love a very like clean, tidy space. And when I realize like I got clothes in the basket I haven't folded. I mean, I hate folding clothes, but I won't let them sit there forever, right? So when
Mm-hmm.
that's happening, or I need to put my shoes up and they're just all over the floor in my room, like things like that, I'm like, Bree, what's happening? Because
Yep.
normally this is not your space. And then the whole week or the whole day is off.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm showing up late, I'm not doing my notes. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you said that about like the clean space, because when I was younger, my dad, rest in peace to you, sir, he used to tell me your room, like when my room would get a mess, like a mess. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm anal about stuff. Like everything has a place. But it would get a super mess, like just stuff everywhere. And he was like, your room is a reflection of how you feeling. And I will
Mm-hmm.
never forget him telling me that, because he was
Yep.
telling the truth, because that my room looked exactly how I felt, all over the place.
Yep.
Chaotic. Clothes on the floor, feelings on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Bed not made, I'm not made. I'm not putting on clothes. I don't want to. I don't want to be bothered. I
Yeah.
couldn't put the effort into the room because I couldn't put the effort into me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that is true, that they let you know how you're doing. That is a self check. It's definitely a self check in. So when you think about that, I think it makes the importance of them more apparent.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder how much, if we all had a perfect routine, right, that we stuck to for most of the time, how much would that impact you overall and your functioning and self awareness?
I so for me, what came to mind is I think I would definitely have better boundaries.
Mm.
Yeah. Because if I have boundaries in my own personal life where I do these things, I show up for me, I pour into me, then I'm not going to let someone else take from my cup after I'm putting all this work to fill it, you know?
Taking, ain't no siphoning gas out her cup.
Yeah, definitely. I would have
Uh-huh.
better boundaries.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's a
Mhm.
good one. Better boundaries. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think when you have better boundaries with yourself, you can have them with other people.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can have them with other people. It's funny you said it, because when you said laundry, I just wanted to laugh, because I feel like that's the worst chore in the world. I feel like
It
everybody
is
feels the same about it,
awful.
right? It's the longest chore. It takes the long. It's too many steps. You can't just wash
Mhm.
and be done. You got to wash, dry, and put up. Like, who does that?
Girl, and if you
Yes,
fold them all neat and you're anal about that,
I am
it's
very
a whole
anal.
another hour.
Yes, yes. And so but it's funny that you mentioned it, because laundry is how I started my routine. It's
Wow.
not my daily routine, but it's how I first got into the idea of a routine with a complete follow through. So,
Hmm.
um, and I also credit that to living with somebody else.
Yeah.
So all together, I created like this. That was my first thing. I was trying to get myself like focused and to do stuff. And so I was like, you'll just be putting stuff off. I'm a procrastinator, okay? Self-proclaimed procrastinator. But the reason I'm a procrastinator is because I work so good under pressure. That's the problem, right? It always works out, but it's not worth the stress. Like I'm older,
Exactly.
it's not worth the stress. And so I would first like, okay, do your follow through. So I started making myself, if I said I was doing laundry, I completed it. Like I washed it, I dried it, like I was out of the washing machine, like I was done. And I would make sure I did
Mhm.
all of it. And I was like, because I want to be out the way in case somebody else wants to use it. I don't live by myself. And if a person randomly want to wash, I can't just be taking this up for days and days because I don't left something in the dryer. You know how we do, leave it in the dryer.
Yep.
You know, you leave something to wash, you gotta rewash it because it got that, you know the smell. Y'all
Yep.
know the smell. You be like, oh no, you know. And so that was like the first thing I attacked to get into routines. I was like, I can do if I can finish laundry, I can finish anything.
Hmm.
And that's how I got into it. So when you think about your daily routine, what does yours include? Or let me go back. How did you get into semi having one? Like what made you decide to have a routine?
I appreciate the word semi. That takes off the pressure for me.
You're welcome.
um, how did I get into it? I think we talked about this on live a couple weeks ago. For me, I had typically been this lay in the bed all day until you have an appointment or a reason to get up, right? And my brother, uh, he is huge on like getting up at 6 a.m. because of the type of life he lives, the things he does. He needs to get up at that time to be most productive in those spaces. And he would always call me a slacker.
Good old brothers.
Yes. And I would say, okay, early bird gets the worm, right? And then it was like the person that gets up at noon, you only get the crumbs that are left. And then one day when we were having this exchange, like it just, I don't know, it hit me different or something. I was like, you know what? I'm about to become an early bird gets the worm person.
Okay. And how you
Yeah.
been liking that?
It's been great. It's been really good. So my first alarm goes off at 6:45. Do I get up at that time? No. But it goes off at 6:45 and I'm normally up and out the bed by 7:30.
Oh,
Right?
that is progress.
Who you telling? So then I'm not rushing to get to my first appointments in the morning. I can actually have my cup of tea, which I've also been doing every day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I can really just spend time with me before I give to the world. And I think that has been the greatest part of getting up earlier, spending time with me before the day starts, and then show up for other people.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that your brother bullied you into it. I think it's wonderful by talking trash to you enough times.
Yeah.
But I put a disclaimer: you don't have to be a morning person to have a daily routine, guys.
No,
Don't you can have your
no.
routine. Your routine is yours, but that is
Yeah,
good.
that worked for me.
Mhm.
And I think doing that, it led to having my favorite cup of tea, which might be different every day. It led to me doing my 5 things that I'm grateful for in my little journal. And then I have this little book. I think it's called A Journey to the Heart, where you read a daily reflection every day. Yeah. And spending that time, I think really helps. And then, sprinkling working out at some point in time. I don't have a
Yeah.
schedule for that. But yeah,
Getting where
so
you can
becoming a
fit it
morning person is what really helped me sort of like take over my time with me
in.
in the morning.
I like that. I really do like that. That was a good way. I mean, because you could have just not liked it, right? But at least you tried it and it
Yes.
worked for you. I
Yeah.
think getting up early, I mean, I'm always up early, but I think getting up early
Always up
always.
early.
I think it helps people even when you're not a early person because the
Mhm.
reality is the earlier you get up, the more you get to be with the sun. And I think people do not realize how
Mhm.
important the sun actually is to humans. Like it actually controls your circadian rhythm.
The
So,
natural
but you
vitamin
don't realize
D
that. Yeah, all
and
that.
not the mechanical.
Yes.
I hope my mama don't listen to this episode.
Well, she do, don't blame me. I didn't say it. But yeah, so that makes sense to me. So I heard you mention your cup of tea. So when you say your cup of tea, so your morning routine seems like it's kind of like a wake up,
Hmm.
and you said you like to write your 5 things you're grateful for.
Yeah.
and then you have your cup of tea. So it's kind of like, do you meditate in the morning too? Or is that like your form? Because meditation looks different. Is that your meditation, like your journaling in
Yeah.
the morning?
The journaling is my meditation. And I go to, so another part of routine is I go to sleep to meditation as well. Not
Okay.
necessarily somebody talking to me, but more so it can be just some type of sleep inducing music.
Okay.
Because a lot of times I find myself in my head at nighttime,
Hmm.
and having that, it sort of forces me to relax.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you mentioned that.
Yeah.
Being up all night, right? Because or not being able to rest because your mind won't quiet. And sometimes
Mhm.
having a daily routine will help because you will wear yourself out enough. I completely understand when the mind won't shut down. So
Exactly.
okay.